film begins in 1997, where a helicopter flies into a compound in the Middle East. 4 men apprehend a terrorist leader and tie him to a chair. One of the men, Harry Hart, also known as Galahad, threatens to shoot the terrorist unless he provides answers. The terrorist lifts his head to reveal a grenade pin in his mouth. Harry's comrade Lee jumps on the terrorist to shield his partners from the explosion, sacrificing himself in the process. Harry's other 2 partners, Merlin and Lancelot, remove their masks. After acknowledging Lee's sacrifice, Harry welcomes Lancelot into the Kingsman agency. Harry then visits Lee's wife, Michelle, to inform her of her husband's death. He presents her with a Medal of Valor in Lee's honor, which has a number on the back in case she needs a favor. She should use the phrase "Oxford's not brogues" to let him know it's her. Michelle declines the medal. Harry then goes to see Lee's young son, Gary, also known as Eggsy. He hands him the medal. The scene shifts to 17 years later in Argentina, where Professor James Arnold is being held captive by a group of thugs. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. A thug answers and finds Lancelot on the other side. Lancelot shoots the thug and fights off the rest before helping himself to a drink. Another knock at the door reveals Gazelle, a woman with bladed prosthetic legs who kills Lancelot and frees Arnold for her boss, billionaire Richard Valentine. In London, Harry returns to the Kingsman tailor shop, which is a front for the Kingsman headquarters. The Kingsman is a private intelligence service founded by British elites who lost their heirs in World War I. Harry meets with Merlin and their superior, Arthur. They mourn Lancelot's death and suspect that those responsible are linked to the tragedies in Uganda and Chechnya. We cut to Eggsy, now in his early 20s, living with his mother, her new husband Dean, and his baby sister in a rundown flat. They are financially struggling. Eggsy and his friends head to a pub where they encounter Dean's goons. The goons threaten Eggsy to leave. Eggsy leaves but swipes one of the goons' car keys. He and his friends steal the car and perform stunts until they're chased by the police. Eggsy crashes into another car and then drives straight into the police vehicle. In the next scene, Eggsy is in custody and is threatened with 18 months in prison unless he reveals his friends' identities. After the officer leaves, Eggsy pulls out the Medal of Valor and calls the number on the back. The phrase "Oxford's not brogues" doesn't work, as the woman on the other end says he's dialed the wrong number. Shortly after, Harry bails Eggsy out. Harry takes Eggsy to a pub where Dean's thugs confront him again. Harry tries to defuse the situation, but the thug leader insults him, calling him a granddad. Furious, Harry locks the pub's door, stating, "Manners maketh man." Using his umbrella, he takes down the thugs with impressive skill, leaving Eggsy in awe. After making Eggsy promise not to tell anyone about what he's seen, Harry leaves. When Eggsy returns home, Dean confronts him about the damage to his car. Michelle tries to defend Eggsy, but is pushed aside. Harry listens through a microphone he planted on Eggsy's shoulder and threatens Dean with exposing his crimes if he doesn't let Eggsy go. Dean reluctantly lets Eggsy leave. Eggsy visits the tailor and meets Harry, who suggests that Eggsy join the Kingsmen, following in his father's footsteps. Eggsy agrees and they travel to an underground facility to meet the other recruits. Eggsy befriends a girl named Roxy, while a recruit named Charlie and his friends mock him. Harry later encounters Professor Arnold, who was freed by his kidnappers. Arnold suddenly screams in pain, and his head explodes, showering Harry with a strange fluid. 2 thugs break into the building, forcing Harry to use a grenade and leap out the window. Although he survives, Harry is left in a coma. Valentine learns of Arnold's death and investigates the incident. Meanwhile, the recruits are subjected to a water-filling chamber exercise. Everyone except Eggsy manages to get some air through the toilet pipes. Eggsy breaks a glass enclosure to release the water, saving the remaining recruits. Merlin praises Eggsy, but notes their failure to work as a team led to Amelia's death. Valentine and Gazelle later have dinner with Scandinavian Princess Tilda and the Prime Minister. Valentine presents his plan to combat climate change, which the Prime Minister supports, but Tilda finds insane. She tries to leave, only to be kidnapped. The recruits are given puppies to train as part of their final test. Eggsy is paired with a tiny pug that doesn't respond to his commands. Over time, Eggsy grows attached to the pug, naming it JB. After Harry's recovery, he, Merlin, and Eggsy discover that Arnold had a chip implanted in his neck, causing his head to explode. The Scandinavian Prime Minister also has a similar scar, indicating he has the chip too. Merlin deduces that Valentine might be behind these events, especially since he met with the Prime Minister recently. Eggsy shows Harry and Merlin a video of Valentine's recent event where he promised free SIM cards worldwide. Valentine is also suspected of abducting international leaders and celebrities. Harry goes undercover at Valentine's estate, but gains little information other than seeing a pamphlet for a hate group church in Kentucky. The next day, Eggsy, Roxy, Charlie, and 3 of Charlie's friends are the last recruits. Their next challenge requires them to jump from a plane and land on a target. A recruit panics and opens his parachute too early. Eggsy leads the group, and he and Roxy are the only ones left to pull their chutes. They land on the target, and only Eggsy, Roxy, and Charlie remain. At the Kingsman tailor shop, Eggsy shows Harry the weapons hidden in the shop, including a grenade disguised as a lighter, a pen that triggers poison, and shoes with poison-tipped blades. Valentine and Gazelle soon arrive at the shop, with Valentine trying on one of the outfits. Eggsy, Roxy, and Charlie are sent on a mission to charm a girl at a nightclub, but their drinks are drugged, and they fall unconscious. Eggsy wakes up tied to railway tracks, and an interrogator tries to extract information from him. Despite the approaching train, Eggsy remains silent. He is saved just in time as he's retracted from the tracks. When Harry returns, he informs Eggsy and Roxy that they passed the test, but Charlie failed and was sent home. Their final test requires them to shoot their pet dogs. Eggsy hesitates, but ultimately fails to shoot his pug. A gunshot is heard from Roxy's room. Eggsy is sent home by Arthur, disheartened. He drives back to his home in Arthur's car, which takes him to Harry's place. Harry reveals that the pistol was empty and that Amelia is a member of the Berlin Kingsman. Roxy is now an agent working for Kingsman. Harry receives a call from Merlin about a suspicious gathering at a church in Kentucky. Harry travels there and finds Valentine ready to activate the SIM card signal. The signal causes chaos as people attack each other worldwide. Harry fights off attackers until he is the last one standing in the church. Eggsy, Merlin, and Arthur monitor the situation from different locations. Arthur's implant scar reveals his allegiance to Valentine. It's clear Arthur is part of Valentine's plan to use the SIM cards for mass genocide. Arthur and Eggsy take a drink together, but Arthur's pen triggers poison in Eggsy's drink, killing him. However, Eggsy had swapped the drinks while diverting Arthur's attention. Eggsy rushes to Merlin and Roxy, and they set out to stop Valentine's plan. Roxy is launched into space with 2 balloons to destroy one of Valentine's satellites. Meanwhile, Eggsy and Merlin infiltrate Valentine's headquarters during his party. Eggsy poses as Arthur to gain entry and passes by Princess Tilda, who promises intimacy if he saves the world. Roxy successfully launches the missile, but one of her balloons ruptures. She manages to land safely. Charlie attacks Eggsy, but he is electrocuted. Eggsy continues to fight Valentine's gunman and interrupts the signal activation. Gazelle attempts to kill Eggsy, but is fatally injured by Eggsy's poisoned shoe. Eggsy then kills Valentine by throwing one of Gazelle's prosthetic legs at him, disabling the signal permanently. Eggsy is congratulated by Merlin and Roxy for saving the world. He visits Tilda's cell where they share an intimate moment as promised. The film ends with Eggsy walking into a tavern in a stylish suit, offering Michelle and his sister a new home as a privilege from his new job. Dean's thugs confront him once more, but Eggsy shuts the door and uses Harry's signature line, "Manners maketh man," before dealing with them. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get new movie recaps.